We are back in the 100 Brick Forest today for one of the more transformative updates yet. I am so excited to get a moat and some extra details around the Lion Knight's castle, really making this look like it's not sitting on a big, square, bulky platform. I also recently built a barn and the official LEGO Medieval Town Square set, so I really want to get that added to the table, get in some additional details, make this start feeling lived in and a lively medieval village. So I have a lot of work to do, a lot of details to build. Let's get started. It is a hot summer day here, so I think it would be only appropriate for us to start with a moat and get some of those water details added in around the castle. I recently bought some pieces from the Pick-a-Brick wall that I think is the dark azure that matches the blue underneath the set. So let's go visit the parts and see what we can find. No, guys, I don't think this is the right color. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm gonna be so sad if this is not the right color, but I don't think it's dark enough. Shoot, guys. Oh, I messed up. So bad news bears, this is not dark azure, as we saw. This is. They do not match, not the same. So not the strongest start. We're already pivoting, and that's, part of the fun, right? Right. So what I think I'm going to do here, I grabbed as much of the dark azure as I could find in my parts. There's really not a ton here. And then I think I'm going to have to work with the medium azure to kind of fill in the gaps. I think I want to use the dark azure as much as I can close to the castle, working in the lighter blue as I move out. And hopefully it gives it a bit of a gradient feeling. It's deeper as we get closer to the castle. And then I will come back and fix that when I get more parts. But in the meantime, I think that's the plan. It will work. It'll be fine. We're moving forward anyway. I also have no plans to tack this down. I truthfully have no idea how to even tackle that. It's not straight. It doesn't fit on the grid. There are so many angles and weird shapes. I also want this on an angle on this platform, kind of facing, angled toward the village. So I think I'm just going to kind of set it, rest it on the blue plate, on the moat and some of the green grass for now, and hopefully kind of secure it in around the sides. I mean, it's just sitting here. It's not going anywhere, but hopefully I can blend it in, make it look like it's not just resting there. That's the goal, because I don't know what I'm doing. So we're going to see how this goes, and hopefully it looks kind of like a moat. And speaking of not knowing what I'm doing, I apologize now for the somewhat chaotic time lapse here over the next few seconds. I'm really not sure what happened with my setup, but this is the footage I have, but we are still persevering. I really tried to do my best to put the darker azure closer to the castle, but due to those part limitations, some of them had to take one for the team. The math just worked out better for that size to be somewhere else, so I just went with the flow of where the LEGO water wanted to take me. Clearly, I underestimated how far this plate was going to take me, but I am almost all the way around the castle, and with the additional parts purchase that I plan on doing, that will definitely get me all the way around. So I'm really happy with at least having this base layer down. It's looking pretty good, but let's make it look a little bit more like water. I had a handful of people comment on my last table video about offsetting the tile, and in particular, someone suggested using a herringbone pattern. I love the idea, so to the best of my abilities, laid out the tiles to create that offset so the seams don't align like they did in my water at the base of the waterfall, and I have to say, I really love how this turned out, so thank you so much for that suggestion. From here, I pretty much followed the same formula as my water detail before, adding a variety of plates in different sizes and angles to cover up the water edge, and adding slopes aplenty for the bank and covering up any other weird gaps that I could find. I used up the rest of my 1x1 transparent studs with a mix of cylinders and different slopes to finish off the top of the waterfall, and lastly tried my best to cover up any remaining gaps from the angled plates in the water with different ferns and bushes. Okay, it is the next day, and I'm very excited to be back in the Lego loft. So I've got some fun things to work on today. But first, I've got to do a little bit of cleanup. I have parts absolutely everywhere, like here, and here, here, and of course, here. But that being said, I'm so excited with how the water detailing turned out. I don't think it looks too bad. I don't think that it looks like the castle is just sitting on the plate and not necessarily tacked down. But I really would like to know what you guys think. Like, I tried really hard to be intentional in where I'm putting plants and things to cover up those seams, but also hopefully not look like I'm just trying to cover up some gap or hole that might be there. So I'm really curious to know what you think. And second to that, kind of really want your thoughts about the moat. Should I put water all the way around the castle? That is truly what I originally envisioned. This is a moat after all, which I planned on going all the way around the castle. But as I was putting this down and working on it, I realized that the water pieces on the Lion Knight's castle are really only around the back and the side, and then everything in the front is all green plate underneath. And now I just can't decide, should I actually fill in the whole front and really have this sitting on a full moat? Or should I have it be as if a waterfall, which I do want to build eventually? I think when the castle's not fully at the edge of the table, I do want another waterfall coming down a really big rock wall that then comes into the moat, and that's what's around the castle before it goes down to the rest of the forest. But does it just snake around the backside? Maybe does it need a full moat? Because truly, like, this is going to be a fairly peaceful village. I'm not planning on building any big armies or war scenes, no battle scenes. So I don't know, maybe it doesn't need it, but maybe it would look really cool with water all around it. So anyway, I'm just curious what you guys think. Do you think I should build the moat and the water all the way around, or kind of just leave it as it is? And then this whole front area can just be green rock kind of detailing? Let me know in the comments because I am so undecided and I don't know what to do. For today, though, I'm going to be adding a pathway connecting the dirt pathway that I made last update all the way up to the castle. I've got to build some stairs in the hillside so that minifigs, visitors, villagers can get up that platform, get to the castle. And I've got a metric ton of burps that I can use to help cover up a lot of the platform um, supports that I have here, and we don't need to be looking at those anymore. And hopefully this will actually start looking like a hill instead of just a square boxy platform. So I'm really excited to start making this feel real, and just not being this big square. So let's clean up these pieces. I gotta go grab some more. Let's make a new mess, but hopefully this is gonna look a lot better. We interrupt your regularly scheduled cleaning montage for this side build segment. I'm really excited. I love this little build. If you're familiar with my second overlapping bricks technique video, then you have seen this Lego fairy cottage that I built, but I left it on a very plain, boring green base plate. Not a whole lot to it. ULUG, the Utah Lego Users Group, was invited out to an event recently where we could come and display our MOCs for people to see. And my husband and I really wanted to bring this fairy cottage, so we spent a good couple hours adding the water, the forest floor, really making it feel alive. And it was really fun because this was the first time that Brandon and I had really sat down and actually mocked together. We have built so many sets. Almost every one of our sets we have built together, taking turns every other step or page. But we've never done this. And it was so much fun to just real time get someone else's feedback or their thoughts in how to build something out. And it really felt like a light version of Lego Masters. And I actually really enjoyed working with a partner. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys kind of what we've been working on a little bit on the side, and back to the other Haley. The space looks so much better. It is very clean, a lot less cluttered. So that makes me a happy builder. But I do have a whole cart full of brand new parts so that I can start covering up these support beams. And of course, like I said, connecting this pathway up to the castle, building in some steps so that minifigures can actually get up there. But I'm very excited. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my big old bag of burps. I have so many that I purchased from Lego a while ago, like over a year ago. Oof, that is loud. But I'm really excited to be using them. I don't have that many slopes, so I don't think I can fully slope brick build the hillside. Maybe in time, but right now I do at least have those burps. So I'm excited to get them in and using them. And then we can kind of detail and cover some of it up with the slopes that I have so it doesn't look quite so uniform, hopefully. But without further ado, it is time to stop procrastinating and build these steps. Oh, good morning. I needed to take a break from the slope work last night. I just got into this headspace where I did not feel like this was looking good at all. I didn't like the tan slopes that I was using, even though they're just placeholders for the parts that are on their way. I don't know. I think I just needed some food. I think I was hangry because I had dinner, I had breakfast this morning, I had a good night's sleep. And looking at it again after taking some time away, I'm not feeling as bad about it. But I walked away last night being like, this looks like crap. I don't know why I felt that way, but it's really not that bad. And when I get my new pieces, I can actually get this all finished up because I am sadly running out of slopes in the colors that I need. And I've got plenty more on the way that I can finish this. I also don't know why I was in this like thought process that this project had to be finished. If I'm starting a project to show you guys, like it has to get finished before I can finish this video and get it out there for you. But that's really not the case. I don't know why I felt that way, but I realized last night that it is okay to have this unfinished right now because I will come back and finish it. It's just I need the parts. So I'm probably gonna have to wait for those slopes to arrive, the extra pieces that I have, to get this all finished and get that detail in. But in the meantime, what I do believe I have pieces for are for these steps. I have a bunch of plates and wedge plates and things that we can kind of make this look a little bit more blended and a little bit more detailed, a bunch of tiles to add the like dirt pathway and texture kind of up the stairs a bit, and adding a bunch of stone and things like that just to make it look a little bit better, a bit more complete. But I want to get that taken care of today so that I can move on to the barn. I'm most excited for this part, I think, because I purchased a bunch of Lego animals, gosh, it's had to be longer than that, maybe 9 months to a year ago at this point. And so I really want to make a cute little stable area for all of these animals, a little pig pen, an area for the sheep and the goats. I think you can maybe see the barn back there, but I had an extra medieval blacksmith set. So using rebrickable, I found some barn instructions that I really liked, but I think we can get that added into the village today and just add a little bit more life with the animals. So let's get these stairs done because I'm ready to move on to a different project. I basically used all of my dark and light bluish gray wedge plates here, but the stairs are done. And I can honestly say they turned out even better than I expected. I really like the gradual incline that you get from layering the plates, and I think it's a great way to welcome minifigs to the castle. But with this somewhat tedious task finally complete, I'm moving on to my most anticipated addition this week, the barn. And with the first layer of plate and detail down, I think it's finally time to get the fence pieces added. Hi friends, it has been 2 days since when you saw me last. It's been a crazy weekend. It was just kind of one thing after another, but I got all the details built that I wanted to, and I am now back to show you and get this barn finished, all the details added in, and then last but not least, finishing off some of the pathway for the town square. And I think we can call these updates done. But first and foremost, let's show you some of these details. All right, so here are my little water troughs that I made. This is my small one for the pig pen, and then my larger one for my other goats and sheep and cows. So I think that the sizes work really great for the different sizes of pens that we have here. I'm kind of thinking it can go in this corner here and that corner there. And then here are my little shade spots, my lean-tos for my animals. So here's kind of the design for the roof. Oops, this way, my cute little acorn. I was really excited to find those in my printed piece pile. But what I have is just a really simple roof with some plate, and then using this recessed edge, I guess this whole center, I'm using that for these pillars to just kind of set into and sit on top of, and then using these cheese slopes in the back for that roof to rest on. I tried using a bunch of different attachments, clips, bars, hinges, and stuff, and I don't know, everything looked really bulky and I really didn't like it. So this is the design I came up for now. I really liked keeping all of the sight lines open and just keeping it simple. So we'll see how I feel about it long term, but for now I think it'll look good. And as always, I do have a color swap I'm going to make with these pillars. I don't want them to be gray, but it's what I have right now. This one for the pig pen, I think, can rest on some of the fence. So I don't think I'm going to need back pillars for that one, but we'll see what happens when we get in there. And then last but not least is my tree right here. I really wanted to make sure that I had something to kind of bridge this gap in the fence. I think this will be a great way to just add a little bit more foliage and something that seems kind of natural and yeah, can kind of hold that gap together and keep the animals in. Let's get these details added. I am so excited to bring these little animals to life. And last but not least, the official town square set added along with a pathway extension. Since the set already had all of that stonework right outside the doorway, I continued that aesthetic right into the dirt. I can't wait to make this a full roundabout and connect it, but first I want to get a bakery in on the other side of the blacksmith to know exactly where I want to place it, but I think this is looking so good so far. Before I finish this off today, I've got one last thing to do. I had someone comment on my last video about how my flags were flying in different directions, and I think this is as good a time as any to maybe get that updated because, that is indeed how wind works. So this just makes sense. And with that finally done, I think I can say that we are good to go here. I just have to say, I am truly speechless and blown away by the love and support that I got on my last video, at least for the table. I cannot believe waking up one morning and seeing that it had hit over 1,000 views, to let alone it now being over 15,000 views, maybe even at this point. And just getting so many comments and suggestions has been so helpful as I'm on my building journey and trying to figure this whole thing out. So again, if you watched it, if you liked, commented, I am so, so grateful. And of course, if you became a subscriber because of that, I'm just speechless. I can't even believe that that happened. So if you like this content, if you'd like to see more of my table updates and just my learning building journey in general, please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, you know the drill, and I will see you in the next one.